pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record reflect that all the board members are here. And we're on to 4.0, election of board officers. And we will entertain nominations for chair.
I nominate Keith Young as chair.
I'll second.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Do we have a motion for a white ballot?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Perfect. You are now the chair, and you may take over.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next item is for vice chair. I'd entertain motions for vice chair.
I'll make a motion for Mike.
I'll support that.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Yeah, I'll entertain a motion for a white ballot.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Nominations for clerk.
I would like to nominate Mona.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. You want to serve as the clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Entertain a motion for a white ballot.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We need a motion.
Chair,
Oh, sorry.
who supported the motion for vice chair?
For vice chair.
I made the motion.
And Jensen. Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
Sorry. I will repeat those for you. I like the way you want to do it last year. It's a lot easier for Kathy. And I'll remind you if I don't say that. Okay, entertain a motion for treasurer.
I will nominate Leon for treasurer.
Support.
Motion put so. Second by Jen Laney. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Entertain a motion for a white ballot.
So moved.
Support. Motion Sean Love. Second by Jen Laney.
I suppose, I don't know if I should or not, but
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, organizational business, 5.0. 5.1, designate the official depositories. Miners National Bank of Bedloe first. And also First National Bank of Gilbert.
These are the two that we've had for a long time.
And it's a 2/3, 1/3 split, I believe. Okay. Need a motion for this?
I'll make a motion to designate Miners and First National Bank.
Second.
Okay. Motion Sean Love, second Jen Laney. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.2, designate the official newspaper. We have Hometown Focus at $1.50 per column. Inch? Okay. I gotta make sure before I say it. And the Southern Daily News is at $1.49 per column inch. What's your pleasure?
we have the hometown focus right now.
Mhm.
I know there's been a lot of conversation in the communities about changing. I don't know if we should or not.
Yeah, I haven't heard the conversation either way, but, what's your pleasure?
I can just tell you from my experience, I mean, whatever you guys want to do, it doesn't matter to me. Just if you're looking for a comparison, I mean, you're designating an official newspaper to publish the minutes, so I mean, it's the cost per column inch is real similar. It's the other things that aren't real similar, the advertising, and some of the other postings that we have to do. I mean, if you're looking for, I believe the hometown focus on those issues is fairly cheaper.
And lots of times we publish in both, if it's an employment ad.
Yeah, if we're looking, so I mean, it's,
But the minutes,
the minutes, I mean, it's,
we're satisfied with one focus, I don't know.
Okay.
you could go either way though, I mean, it doesn't matter to us.
Well, just to change it up, then I'll make a motion that we go with the Saaba Daily News.
Is there a motion, do we have a second?
I'll support that.
Okay, motion, Putzel, second, Gentilini, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Saaba Daily News gets it. 5.3, authorize reopening of the petty cash funds. On business office is $500, high school office is $250, and junior office is $150. The motion is,
I'll move that we authorize reopening of the petty cash funds.
Support.
okay. Motion Putzel, second Sean Love. Discussion?
The only question I have is, are those adequate balances?
Yes,
Amounts?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.4, authorizing reestablishing the impress fund and the signatories. The amount of $10,000. The signatory is for Jeffrey Terry and Andrea Wintola. Get a motion and a second on this.
So moved on the amount and the signatures.
Okay, motion Sean Love, second Gentilini. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.5, authorizing the reestablishment investment account. Signatories are Jeff Carey and Andrea Wintola. Need a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Support.
Motion Putzel, second Sean Love. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.6, authorize Andrea Wintola and Janelle Delincic, to set up and monitor electronic monthly wire transfers. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Support. Oh, go ahead. Chad.
Okay.
Oh, Mark
Motion
got it.
Sean
Mark,
Lobb,
Chad got it.
second by Chad. Any discussion? Just to let you all know that the electronic wire transfers are also represented monthly in the treasurer's report as well. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.7, authorize the mileage reimbursement rates to coincide with the federal law, and I believe they're at, what, 52 or
No, they're like
56?
59.
50.
0.545.
545?
It is.
Okay.
It was 0.575, but it's down.
5.45? Okay. I need a motion to that effect.
This is just to authorize whatever it is at the
Yeah.
given time.
That's all it is.
I'll move.
Motion Peterson,
Support.
second Putzel. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.8, set the board salaries. They're currently $200 a month. I need a motion and a second.
So moved on 200 per month.
I'll
Motion
support.
Sharmlov, second Putzel. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Set the school board meeting dates. They're currently the second and the fourth Mondays at 5 PM, except for holidays and days we have township and other elections.
Will that time continue to work for you?
Yeah, until May.
It's just this summer.
I'll work with it, don't worry, it's,
Just
We'll-
checking,
we'll
if we were
make
going to
it-
change it, do it once instead of bouncing back and
wouldn't
forth.
make any difference.
Okay,
Yeah, so- Okay, we have a motion.
I'll move.
Okay, motion Putzel, second.
Support.
Schumlau. Any discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Athletic committee, or committee appointments. Just to expedite things, if you all want to stay on the same committees you're on or change, mark down what you need if you want to change and let Kathy know. That would be, I would appreciate if the people who are in the committees right now for negotiating, if they would hang in there until we are done with our current negotiating. And then if you don't want to be on or want to change, let us know.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
The buildings and grounds, we already have the full board for budget and finance, personnel, policy, that type of thing. I'd like to see the same thing hold true for buildings and grounds while we're in the process of some of these changes that we've got coming forward.
I think that's a very good idea.
Is that reasonable?
Yep.
I think it
so.
is.
At least for this year to get through
Just-
this
Yeah.
facility
well,
study and
Full board?
We can always change it, but I think
Right.
for the duration of this process,
I'm trying to get it up here so I can see it.
yeah,
I got it.
okay.
Okay. So whatever committees you want to, I suppose we have to vote on having a board, a full board on the building and grounds, because it's a change, or just go with it?
Just appoint everybody.
Yeah, that's all.
it's,
Okay.
yeah, it's just an advisory board
Just-
anyway. It's
Just
not.
want to make sure.
Right, we do not take action at those meetings, but I think because of some of the decisions we're going to have to make, it would be helpful if everyone was hearing things
Yes.
fresh. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay. So we're done with the organizational meeting. Need a motion to? No, we'll just send that one. Now we're done with everything on the agenda. Okay. So the agenda for the regular meeting, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call. Everyone is present again. Principals and student reps. Student reps are not here tonight, so who would like to begin?
I'll go first.
Okay.
We are quickly approaching the end of semester one. It ends on Friday. On Monday, our staff will be in an in-service all day. They'll be doing some tech training. Our tech integration specialists, Lee Zika and Paula Madden, have been working hard with a lot of help from Stace Landler as well to prepare some exciting activities for them in the morning. They will also have a preview of our brand new, finally up and running telepresence room. And virtual field trips. So if you're interested in seeing what that's like, shoot me an email and I'll let you know what those times are if you'd like to stop in on Monday. The rooms will be packed because we can only run 2 sessions in the afternoon, but you're more than welcome to join us and see what those are all about. The Friday before break, we had an ugly sweater contest at the senior high. I don't know if you saw our Facebook postings, but competition was fierce. Despite my heavy campaigning, Mr. Ufford won the staff competition. Our senior, if you didn't see that sweater, you need to hop on Facebook because it was special. Our senior winner was Liz Porkinen, 11th grade was Jada Torma, 10th grade was Katie McCracken, and 9th grade was Quinn Newich. Snow Week is coming up. We are going to try something new this year and have the Pep Fest on the Friday before Snow Week. For a number of reasons. We really want to recognize all of those teams before their Snow Week contests and cheer them on and send them on their way. And there was no week where we had everybody at home. So the basketball team for Snow Week is that Friday night after the Pep Fest. And then there's hockey in that following week, culminating with us playing in Duluth at Hockey Day, Minnesota on Saturday at 10 a.m. Mark your calendars. That will be fun, and I'm sure it will be a gorgeous day down on the lake. So. We are already in the process of registering students for the next school year. Next Wednesday, Mrs. Forsman and I will go around to students in grades 8 through 11 and present information to them, hand out materials, answer questions, give instructions. New this year, we are adding parent information nights. We want parents to have the opportunity to come in and hear the same thing the kids are hearing, to hopefully avoid some confusion, explain what CEP classes mean, what the requirements are, what ALI is, and how to get in those classes. Prerequisites, we really want to demystify the process. We offer a tremendous amount of opportunities for our students, and we want to make everyone aware of that. So Mrs. Forsman and I will be here Wednesday night next week for those as well. That's all.
What was the date again on the registration?
Registration is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Is that the 20th? Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Danette stole all my fire. The only other thing I have is a 6th grade ski trip. Yeah. Was supposed to be this Wednesday, but due to the weather, they postponed it till next Wednesday. So the 6th graders will be up at Giants Ridge on the 20th. We are starting to already do our practice MCA OPAs testing. So that the testing season is upon us again. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
There's just ain't much to talk about in the elementary when it's cold outside, I'll tell you that. Everyone's depressed when you can't go for recess.
Okay, anything else? That's all.
They took all mine.
It's cold in Franklin? Is that what
Jeff, you could just say ditto.
They stole it all from
They
me.
stole your,
I'm going first next time.
okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
maybe that's what you should do, is set up a rotation
okay.
for which principal goes first at every meeting. That way we'd minimize the whining.
That's the whining time down.
Yeah.
Or it spreads it out anyway.
Yes. And the second question I have is, and I did mention many times about our course offerings and how extensive they are. Might it be a good idea to publish those in the paper? So parents can see, the public can see what we're offering. Just a thought.
Certainly. I think we did something similar a couple of years back, so I'll look at that and do something.
Might be a good thing.
That we're accepting enrollment for next year.
Yes.
There you go. This is what we have.
We will do that.
If we don't blow our own horn, nobody else will. Okay.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, agenda additions or deletions?
I actually have a few this time. Try not to, but you have a couple in front of you. 9.7 is going to be an addition. It's a Title I resignation of Rhonda McConnell. And 9.8 is another Title I resignation of Nancy Pickett. I'd like to add 10.3, which is a closed session for negotiations, strategy on the athletic director contract, as well as technology coordinator. I'd like to add 10.4, which is going to be Ryan Turner, has an update for us prior to tomorrow night's meeting.
Okay.
And then finally, I'd like to remove 10.2. That's updated budget for the year. And the reason I'm doing that, Andrea and I have been looking at that, and you know, I've said many times I'm just following what the people did before me, but we really have looked at this and decided that it's a broken process, and instead I would like to, and I'll do this during my superintendent report, but I'd like to call a finance meeting, because there's some things that we need to go over, and you should have some input in prior to passing. In the format that we've used in the past is not been, what's the nice political way of putting it, readable. So we're gonna change that up a little bit, and like I said, we'll call a finance meeting and go through that, so I don't just stick it in front of your face and say, here, pass this. So it'll just take a little more time.
Okay. Anything else?
That'll do it.
Okay, thank you. 5.0, visitor input. Anyone who's not on the agenda who wishes to address the board, step up, state your name, and
Crystal Scuffy, president of Chickadami, and I guess I'm just asking that when David Saline gets here from the city, as he's running late, coming up from a different meeting, that you guys give him the opportunity to address, since he's not here under visitor input. And I know he and Mr. Carey or Jackie had spoken about their attendance here, and they're not on the agenda. So if you can give them that opportunity, whether it's when they get here at the end, that's up to you. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, moving on. Approve the agenda.
I'll move.
Support.
Motion Peterson, second by Gentilini. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7.0, approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Monday, December 14th, 2015.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, support Sean, no, I'm sorry. Motion Sean Love, support Putzel. Any discussion? Changes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 8.0 Business Office Affairs. Approve the treasurer's report for the month of December and the first check writing in January. Leon?
For December, we have receipts of $1,143,932.46. Disbursements of $524,132.56. Payroll at $657,896.79. And for January, we have just disbursements of $95,099.46. I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Support.
Okay. Motion Sean Love, second Gentilini. Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.0 Personnel. Approve early childhood teacher and coordinator position of Ellen Williams.
Ms. Williams has been working as a substitute in that program. As we're trying to, because she doesn't have an early childhood license, we went through the process of making her a community expert, and it was a learning process for me. I've been through it now once, so hopefully it goes smoother the next time. But that finally came through right before Christmas, so we're just need to officially hire her now.
Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Support.
Motion Sean Love, second Gentilini. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Where she's listed as a teacher, does that give her any equality to a classroom teacher then for seniority rates?
Should not be a part of the teachers union.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.2, approve the 2015-2016 certified seniority list. You have it in the packet.
Can I ask a question about this before we do anything?
Sure.
I was just, briefed through and one name stuck out at me, and I don't know if I want to out the person, but on the ECFE list, there's an individual that has a seniority of 2009, but I don't think she physically taught in the ECFE in 2009, did she?
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna come over there and look.
Well, like I said, I don't, it might be just semantics, but
Just to answer that, there was during that time, Title I and ECFE were on the same list.
oh,
So now that they're split, it was just had to deal with it. So
I know this particular person's been in the district, so I didn't know if it was just kind of a carryover
They
from
used to be
another.
on the same list and now they're not, so.
Okay, like I said, I don't want to try to make a wave, target anybody, but I just thought it, okay, that's fine.
That's what happened.
Thanks, Keith.
We need a motion and a second.
I'll move.
Support?
Motion Peterson, support Sean Love. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.3, approve the 2015-16 Title I seniority list.
So moved?
Support.
Okay, we have motion Sean Love, support Chad. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.4, approve the 2015-16 early childhood seniority list.
I'll move.
Okay, motion Peterson,
Support.
support Gentilini. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.5, accept the retirement of George Harridan.
I will regretfully make the motion.
I'll support.
Okay, motion Sean Love, support Peterson. Any discussion?
Just send a letter and say thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you isn't even enough for what he's done for us, so.
Right.
If you, everyone who read his letter, I think we should take this to heart, what he said on the bottom of the page. Because he seems to think that we do not sell our district enough, unlike other districts around here. And that's something we'll have to take to heart and hopefully follow through on. Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.6, extracurricular. We have one, Zach Wagner, volunteer junior high boys basketball coach. Need a motion and a second.
So moved. Go ahead, Mark.
Motion 40, second, Sean Love. Yeah, Sean Love.
Son.
Any other discussion? Are the numbers okay for us to do this, or is this,
It's volunteer, we're not paying anything.
okay? Just want to make sure.
Yep, that means they're good.
We're good.
Yeah, that means we're good, okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 9.7?
Yep.
Okay. Title I resignation of Rhonda McConnell. Need a motion and a second.
I'll move.
Okay,
Support.
motion Putzel, second Peterson. Discussion? Have we been able to find a replacement yet?
Just got that one a couple days ago, and the other one I got today, so,
Oh, okay, so.
no.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with a letter of thanks for service also. 9.8, resignation of Title I of Nancy Pickett.
I'll move.
Support.
Motion Putzel, second Peterson. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we go on to new business, won't we have the people from Evelyn step up, please, and state your name? Because I am terrible at names, I don't remember.
My name is David Saline. Regarding Yami, I just wanted to give you a quick update. I apologize that you didn't get some of the updates. We were sort of in that lull of the process of this development. I'll give you about a 5-minute, very short synopsis of where we are. We actually had a planning session today with Chickagami board members and the administrator. We are probably on our, I'm going to guess, the third or fourth version of this layout and plan, which means we're on the third or fourth version of the budget, which is obviously, like all things, is the critical element to this project. We think we're getting close. Chick board has got some work to do here in the next few days. It's going to be very quick. We are going to be at a point of having a final determination on the budget and the layout and the construction plans in the next 4 weeks. We are still shooting for that mid-December date as an ideal, as a best case date. We could be off of that date. I don't want to tell you that that's an absolute, but I'm aware of the board's actions regarding the continuation of the lease agreement, and we need to get a sense as to whether that's something that you are open to discuss, because if you're not, then we need to realize that, and we need to put this in our pocket for the time being. So I can address questions that you may have in this process. The city is still working diligently to get this thing done. We have got, it's like any kind of a project like this, when you do it, we right now are running with numbers that are scary enough for all of us to think about, and I'm sure you are very familiar with that reality. The city has a desire to see this forward. We are probably going to be meeting with the city council on a preliminary level in the next 2 weeks, just to sort of get them up to date and give them a sense of where we are in the numbers and how big of a gap there is. There's a gap. What a surprise, all right, for all of you that have been around this long enough to know. And then hopefully we have this thing locked up in the next 4 weeks, at which point the architect can get construction plans drawn. We're talking about a spring commencement here. Site's already been firmed up. The site work has already been, the work on the site to determine the site conditions, the soil conditions, the soil borings, and all of that work has all been done. So we're in a good position to begin this process. But it's critical at this point for us to get a sense of where the board is relative to this process. I know I committed to you to get you updates. Drop the ball on that. I'll take the hit. That's okay. I'll take the hit on that. It was just in one of those periods of lull where there wasn't a lot of update to give you. But I can keep you current on that on a monthly basis going forward, because now the activity level is going to be very high. So at that, I can either respond to questions and or I'd like to get a sense from you as to where the board might be regarding the extension of this lease agreement until December 1st at a minimum, or December 31st at a minimum.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to open up to the board and see what they want to do.
I think we should have that discussion and make a decision. It's not an agenda item.
It's not an agenda item, so we can't make that discussion now, but I think that's one of the things that's all we asked for was an update, and we weren't getting anything, nothing at all.
Okay, I know you did get it for a period of time there, and then it dropped off. As I said, I'll take that hit for that. It's just that those things weren't going on. When would you have your meeting that this would be on the agenda?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, I would say. Yeah. Meanwhile, I think we should have a committee meeting on the board members for the building and grounds.
Yeah, we can,
We have one tomorrow night, but we could have one before the next board meeting.
Okay.
So we could at least have some information for them so they know what's going on from us.
If you can let me know when that meeting is and confirm that for me, I'll be happy to be present at that meeting to address any kind of further questions that the board members might have.
Yeah, any new information that will help us out.
What?
Mr. Chair, I mean, if I may, if we are going to have that meeting, can we have some timelines in writing and something to actually look at that we can have a conversation on?
I can get you a schedule.
Okay.
Of where we are, what the schedule is today. I can give you sort of a checklist of those concerns that we continue to have, just so that there's knowledge, and the schedule of events and what the projected timeline is. I'll be happy to do that, and then I'll be happy to discuss it at your meeting.
Okay. If that's what we have, so we'll do that.
Okay, sir.
And we'll keep you informed as far as when we're going to get together. And you can bring the information to us, or if you can get to us ahead of time.
Sure. I just got my email, I believe, so you can just give me a hint on when that is, and then so I can get it into my calendar, so I'm going to have a look at that point in time.
Okay, this is something that we've been dealing with for many, many years already, so I'm glad to see it's moving forward finally. hopefully.
I'm aware the the board's been dealing with it for a long time. I'm aware that it's been a hot issue for a long period of time. It has not been an easy process to go from that beginning point to where we are today with this process.
Yeah.
But the council has a desire to see this through.
Well, we do too.
I'll wait and see how they react when I tell them how big the gap is, but we're getting there. And
Okay.
So I think that we'll have some hard information for you that I can give you in written form in the next couple of weeks, assuming we're talking about a couple of weeks from now. And then we'll go forward from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, now moving on to new business, 10.0. 10.1, renew the membership in the Rams. We need some discussion or promotion.
I'll also move we renew the membership in the Range Association of Municipalities and Schools.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Gentilini, second by Forty, and the amount is for $1,250. Any discussion with board members?
I just like that, I wasn't able to attend the meeting the other night for them. For those that maybe did go, is there a recap? Do they have any good things to say that are going on, or this is still kind of a contentious political body, so I'm wondering if there's still,
Well, I think
if I get these looks all of a sudden.
No. I'll start, and the others that were there, Tom, Keith, Leon, there were 4 of us. Everybody's aware the organization is regenerating itself. It's entirely different than what it's been 6 months ago or a year ago. I think there's a lot of initiatives that it has started. I think they mentioned at the meeting there's been a few new members have joined in the last several weeks. And they were asking if any of us know any other townships, cities that aren't a member, to let Mr. Georgie know, and he would contact them. I was going to talk about the meeting under board member topics, but this would be okay to do it too. 3 of our representatives were there, two representatives and a senator, Senator Saxog and Representatives Anzels. And Metza. And they gave an update on the legislative session, and the big thing that they talked about was the taconite industry and the issues it is having, which we're all aware of. And the gist of the conversation was, it's been talked about for 20 years, but it's getting to the time is coming when the range has to look to the next product for taconite. Taconite pellets are going to be diminishing in demand and in sales, and there has to be an initiative to create the DRI product that can be used in electric furnaces instead of selling a product just to the blast furnaces. The electric furnaces it's changing the steel industry. It has been changing the steel industry. And they talked about cooperation going to be needed between everybody. The big suppliers to the mining company, electric, power, gas, whatever, the legislature, the research that's being done in Coleraine, all have to work together, because that's going to be the answer. Because they were very pessimistic about this slowdown being very serious, and there will be reductions coming. There'll be fewer taconite plants, probably, and we need to really start working on the next product down the line to stay viable. Anybody else?
Also, Mark Phillips was there too from IRRB.
That's right, he was a speaker.
Yeah, he was a speaker also, yeah.
The 3 people that addressed the group.
I think one thing also that they brought up about wood products, bio changes that are coming up with the forest industry. I think it's something that Mark Phillips was talking about, that it may be the next, I don't want to say big thing coming, but you have to start small someplace and you got to expand on it. And they said that would help the wood products industry. And also with a lot of new technology, that there's a lot of things coming on the forefront that are not announced yet, but they're working on it. And they said they have to diversify. That's what we have to do. So Mark covered it pretty well as far as the steel industry went, so I'm not going to add to that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Anything else, Mike? Anyone else? Okay. We have a motion and a second. And discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on. 10.3. We need a motion for a closed session for negotiations.
I'll move.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Putzel, second by Forty, for a closed session after the other items on the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10.4, Ryan Turner. Ryan, you still out there? Okay. It's yours.
Hello, I'm just here to give a quick update. I can say that we've been making some progress regarding the State Historic Preservation Office and the manual training building being on the National Register. There are a couple of hurdles to jump through there, and actually it involves the City of Evlith. They're required to, what they are considered the the RGU, or the, it stands for, just to make sure I get the acronym right. The responsible governmental unit, they have to perform an environmental assessment worksheet. It's a requirement. I've been in touch with the city and they're in the process of starting that, at least looking into it. It will not kick in until you actually apply for a permit. So, but I've given them a heads up. They know what's coming. The folks at the Environmental Quality Board at the state have had input as well and said that they think the city is the appropriate governmental unit to do that. The county I've been in touch with as well. They don't have any interest in it. It's out of their jurisdiction unless you're looking for a conditional use permit to bring the waste somewhere, which we aren't at this point. So there have been a few things that we've been working on, kind of laying the groundwork for that potentially to happen. And other than that, it's I don't have anything else for tonight's meeting. Unless you have questions of me.
Just my one comment, I still haven't seen copies of any presentations, and I can bring it up again tomorrow. But
I've actually left copies with Jeff and with.
I just got them last Friday.
I have some on my desk, and I did one.
oh, yeah. I was told they were going to get on that whatever that electronic thing that we're on.
Okay, if they aren't there,
Basecamp.
I thought they were, but if
Basecamp, there you go.
Okay. If they aren't there, I'll make sure, I'll double check when I get back to the office, make sure they're there, but they should be there as well. If not,
I would prefer
I'll
electronic copies myself. I don't. Emails just as easy.
This is the,
I want all of them.
oh, okay, this is
I've been asking for all of them since we started.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't. Like I said, I delivered the hard copies of the last one here
Yeah.
when I had heard that there was a request for those. But
I'll just keep asking, Ryan.
yeah, I'll
So
make
be
sure they get
prepared.
on there. Okay, any other questions?
Not here.
Anyone else? Okay. We will see you tomorrow night then. Thank you.
Very much.
Superintendent's report.
Well, to piggyback off what Ryan says, the bid documents are out for the asbestos removal. That's going on, and we've had a couple companies contact us. They want to do walkthroughs, so I think that wraps up next week, and probably by the next meeting we'll have an opening, and you guys can decide which company we're going to go through. I have been in contact with Mr. Klossmo. He's working on the closure, the public meeting, so that will also be coming up shortly. Just a reminder that we have the Buildings and Grounds Committee tomorrow that Ryan will be at. And I guess last thing for me, like Danette said earlier, registration is starting up. We should have numbers fairly soon, and once we have those, the budget will fall into place for next year. Andrea and I have been working through that, how that's going to go, and So like I said, I'd like to call a finance committee meeting sometime in the near future. I know Andrea happens to be going to Disney World next week, so that ain't gonna work, but if we could look at our calendars in the future. We can get
Did you have something in mind?
a lot of this taken care of.
18th is a holiday, so we know we can't do it then.
The whole week's going to be out for. I would like Andrea to be participating. She's not going to be here next week, so
Okay.
I'm looking at probably any time 26, 27, 28, somewhere in that range. I'm going to throw a number out there and we can say no. 26.
26 work for everybody?
That's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Are we talking like a 4, 5 o'clock meeting or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That one's okay with people?
Yep.
26th, all right. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Board member topics. Start with you, Mark.
No, nothing other than I just won't be able to make tomorrow's meeting.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to ask?
No.
Okay. Well, if you do have any questions, just get a hold of the office and leave them here with Jeff.
Okay.
If something turns up, if you come up with it, so. Okay. Leon?
Nothing at this time.
Pass?
Nothing.
Mike?
I just wanted to bring up some stuff about, I don't even know where to start. How we as the board and administration deal with contracts and board directives, expiration dates. I was just made aware that there was a board I mean, there's numerous things, but this one particular thing I think that we need to talk about, and maybe at a personnel committee meeting or something. But the gist is that over 2 years ago, the board made a directive to pay a person, I don't know, as a casual employee. At a certain point, they made a directive to pay some kind of benefit supplemental with an expiration date on it. That expiration date came and went about a year and 5 months ago, and yet we have still been paying that person that money. I think it's wrong. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I mean, I think that if the board gives a directive or comes into contract with somebody, if that comes up as an expiration for that payment or that monies, I think that should trigger the business office or our administration to bring that back to the board and either make a decision to continue on with that or to not continue on with it. And like I said, I think it would almost justify triggering a personnel or some kind of, maybe we can talk about it in a finance committee meeting, because there's numerous other circumstances where we seem to be reactive to expirations on contracts and money, and I mean that's all we talk about is hemorrhaging money in this place, but yet we have our schools, it just spends without any, it seems like there's situations where there's times where there's money getting spent without authorization or directive from the board. And I don't know how to deal with that other than to talk about it.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get it on we'll get it on the committee agenda and we'll discuss it. I think we have to do that. We have to check all the contracts and see where everything is at, see what's out there, see what has to be closed, what has to be negotiated.
And I think as far as most of our contracts that I've experienced, it's, I mean, they got every single one of them. The teachers asked me confidentials. They all got expiration dates, and they all said, unless in writing, these are extended. I mean, we don't even extend our own contracts during negotiations, and I think that's borderline wrong also.
I think in the past, I think it's actually not a state statute, but I think there's something in the state. It's always been understood that contracts, unless they go on strike, they're continuing until we we don't have a contract and they file for strike. And we've always done it like that with all of them. And we're not the only ones.
Well,
There's other,
that don't make it right. I mean, and here's a situation where we've been paying somebody for a year and a half. I mean, how long is that?
well,
Just go with an expiration date.
that
Why
sounds
do we
like a
give
different-
expiration
That
dates?
sounds like a different situation, though, Mike.
But then
we
the
have to
same
address
reason,
it.
everybody, I mean, the only reason why I'm kind of making a big deal of this is, I mean, everybody always says, hey, we're like the mines, we're like the mines. Well, I've been talking to people in mines, and they, once their contracts expire, they have an extended contract that they don't get bereavement or personnel. I mean, there's different things that they don't necessarily, like family leave of absence. and all
Public
that.
employees are a lot different than a mines one. I'll tell you that right
Well,
now.
that's to say, we pick and choose who we want
Yeah.
to follow at any given circumstance, and I think we need to have our own, you know, and if we're spending money without any direction from this board, I think that that's a big
Well,
conversation to have.
should be addressed, it should be answered.
This is the board's responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
To,
I
just
mean-
foresee,
I mean, if our administration or our business office are giving raises or spending money and they're not authorized to do it, I think that's a great, I mean, that borderline's on illegal. I mean, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying in my mind, without knowing all the facts, that could borderline on illegal action.
We have to get all the facts together.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So that was part one.
Okay.
And part two, I just wanted to, you know, brief everybody on, Mona and myself and Mark Forty have been meeting about the superintendent evaluation. And we've kind of come up with, not really like, what we're going to evaluate, but more of the process, how we're going to evaluate. I mean, the overall thing is we decided we were probably going to adopt a MSBA style evaluation for long-term, where, you know, we give the superintendent kind of a direction or goals for the year, and then throughout the year, we kind of see how it's going. Mark brought up a good point during committee, is that by this June, we have to basically decide if we're going to extend our employment agreement with our superintendent. And we have less than, what, 3 to 4 months because of all the noticing criteria. I mean, that's something we're going to have to see. So we're going to have to figure out kind of a little bit of a different short-term agreement on how we want to evaluate. And Mark suggested that maybe we tie it with our current facility studies that's going on, and, you know, maybe by the end of, what was it, May, or even earlier than that, maybe April, sit down and have a conversation on, I mean, what we want to do with the continuing contract for the superintendent, and then were we going to do that calendar, or are we going to do a school year for the next process of the evaluation? It's probably calendar year, right, or school year.
It would be school year. Well, it has to follow the school year.
Right.
So what the
Start date,
committee,
July.
what Mike is saying is the committee is looking at setting up 2 evaluations with our superintendent. The full year one would start with the next school year. And we would like to have an evaluation form process set up by then. The other thing is we need to really do an evaluation between now and May, so that we can decide as a board, using that evaluation, if we're going to want to enter negotiations with Mr. Carey to be the superintendent, extend his contract, or give him a new contract. Time is short. We don't have very many months, but what we'd like to do as a committee is come back maybe at our next meeting with 2 recommendations. An evaluation to use in the next 5 months, 4 months, and also one for the following school year, so we can begin that process. And if the board's agreeable to doing that, we would work on that. I guess that's what we're asking.
I think it'd be a good idea. Come back with some kind of recommendation, pro or con, and move
But
on
for
from
the
there.
for the 2 time
For the
periods.
2 time periods, yes.
Right. We just basically wanted to highlight that there's kind of 2 different balls here
things going on,
to
yeah.
try to juggle. You know, a short-term one and a long-term one, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
And for those of us that are going to be at the convention, on Wednesday afternoon, there are workshops again about putting together a superintendent's evaluation. for those of us that are going down, if you're gonna be there for Wednesday afternoon, I would suggest trying to make one of those sessions. It might be a lot of repetition from what we've seen before at some of them, but if you're gonna be in Minneapolis Wednesday afternoon, I'm gonna try to make one of those. I'll get whatever information is available.
That early to go down there at that time. Yeah, it would be interesting. And I'm sure they have something during that.
They may have revised what they're going to be presenting from what they did a year ago.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay, thank you. Tom?
Okay, I was up at the Gilbert School on Saturday watching our future basketball players shooting baskets at that, and the kids were just having a ball, you know. So it was really impressive, and the instructors out there showing them how to throw the ball and everything, you know. So it was really nice. So that's it.
Good. That's what they learn at that age, young. Style, form, the right way. So, okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll take a short recess, come back to closed session, and then we'll come back into open session after our closed session and adjourn.